Every so often, I wish I could just close my eyes and wake up in a place full of endless halls that don't make sense. A place that seems so familiar, but I know I've never been. A place with people, but very few, so that running into one is almost rare. But they would always have something fun and interesting to say. A place with an exit, but one that takes a bit to find, so it feels rewarding. Once I exit, I would find a vast place with multiple buildings, but not so many that they are too close together. Out here is tinted a purplish blue. It's harder to see because it's a little static out here. Almost as if I'm looking into a TV on the wrong channel, but there's still a picture. Except I'm inside of the TV, inside of the static. I would look inside 2 or 3 different buildings. They all look the same on the outside, but each are a little different on the inside, almost like a bunch of different realities. Although they are still similar on the inside too, but there is always a difference. Inside of one there may be a person or two, but in another it's completely empty. Lifeless. Maybe one has food and another has clothing items. Whatever the difference, there always was one. I would get tired of walking around through the vast place, and my eyes would be tired too from the purplish blue tinted static. So I would enter a building and rest. The building I chose would be different. The building's door would open and lead me to a playground in a dark forest. Although it is very dark, it's not quite midnight dark. The moon would be in clear view, so it would light up the dirty plastic structures of the playground. The largest structure of the playground has a bright red slide, though it's covered in filth. There's also a swing set in which one of the swings is a broken chain dragging along the dirt. Just like the place with endless halls, this place seems so familiar to me. The trees would dance along to the wind's quiet song, except its melody runs silent. There are dried orange and yellow leaves on the floor, though it's unusually warm for fall weather. I would walk around the dusty playground, the leaves and dirt crunching beneath my feet. Eventually, I would notice a red door in the distance. Yet the same bright red as the playground's largest slide, except this red was clean. Even though everything else in this forest had its own filth, the door before me was in perfect condition. When I opened the door, there would be a short pause in my actions. The door leads back inside a building, but again, something seems so familiar, so nostalgic. There are a lot of pictures hung up on the walls, except none of them have real pictures. Each picture frame, hung by a thin metal wire, would contain pieces of construction paper cut out to look like a beach or a sunset and stuff like that. Almost as if it's a home dedicated to kindergarten art projects. Every wall is a different color or shade, and each one has its own odd way about it. The home is perfectly lit, even though there are no lights other than a few desk lamps here and there. Even then, the lamps have no wires, and the walls have no outlets. You don't belong here. A sudden feeling would rush over me, not dread, but something close to it. I should probably leave. So I would look around for a door. I found it. It's red like the other door, but this one has a little square window set perfectly at eye level with me. When I walk through the door, I find myself in the center of a large structure, almost like a parking garage. Except there's no roof or outside walls. It's much different from the vast place in terms of light. There isn't a sun, but Everything around is just bright white. Even the large structure seems to be made up of the white tiles you'd find as the walls in a school bathroom. The ground I'm standing on feels like concrete. I can't see because of the unnaturally blue water that fills the surrounding area. The water is halfway up my shins. There are stairs leading up to the next level of the large structure, but I decided not to go up them. When I look to the left, there's a big doorway. At closer inspection, it leads to another large structure, just like this one. It seems to be infinite. Although the structure is fairly big, the space in the center feels so empty. It gives a sense of loneliness. Doom. It's been a while since this journey started, and I'm starting to feel tired of walking. So I sit down and lay back. And when I lay back, beginning to float in the shallow water, I slowly close my eyes. As I lie, floating in this watery place, I don't sleep, but I'm not presently awake either. Only void of movement, not thoughts. When I get back up, my back isn't wet, neither is the rest of me, although I'm not where I just was. It's almost completely pitch black, but there's a distant, dim light. I looked around to see if there were any more, and that's when I heard the slight whirring of what sounded like old lights struggling to switch on. Then, like an attack towards my eyes, hundreds, maybe even thousands of colorful lights awakened to illuminate what seemed like a plaza of some sort. Although this plaza is way bigger than what should be possible to build. Not to mention how much electricity it would take to power a place like this. But that's how things work in these places. No rules of reality are left unbroken.